Hi everyone! Today we are looking at simplifying expressions with quotients and powers. So our essential question today is, how do we simplify expressions with quotients of powers? So we looked at quotients of powers yesterday, and we talked about the property and saw that when they're just being divided, when you have two powers that are being divided, or three powers, or four, whatever, all you have to do is subtract those exponents to simplify down. Well, today we're going to be looking at simplifying expressions. So our expressions means that we have more than one type of operation to do. So we're going to be pulling forward some of the information that we gained from powers of products, or products of powers, and quotients of powers, and we're going to combine both of those to simplify. So example A looks like this. You have 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 2nd over, or divided by, 3 to the 3rd. So the first thing that we need to do is look at our top. So the top has a multiplication sign. And we know that when we have two, oh, I skipped a page, bummer. When we have two expressions with powers that we are multiplying and they have the same base, so we have 2 with the same base, we know we just have to add those exponents. So we're going to start out by adding our exponents on the top. So our first step here is going to be to simplify the multiplication using the product of powers property. So we're going to take 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 2nd, which looks like 3 to the 4 plus 2, or 3 to the 6th power. We can then divide it by this, which is 3 to the 3rd. And yesterday we learned that when we have division, we just subtract. So 3 to the 6th over 3 to the 3rd, we're going to take, and we're just going to move the base over and subtract those two exponents. And that gives us 3 to the 3rd power. So we've simplified it down to 3 to the 3rd. We're not solving anything. We're still working with expressions or equivalent expressions. And so all you've done is gotten rid of the multiplication on top, then solve the division. Okay? Let's do another example that's similar to this one. Okay, so this next example, example B. Example B says that we have 5 to the 6th power times 5 squared over 5 to the 4th power. Again, we have multiplication on the top, so we just need to simplify that out. So to simplify that problem out, we are going to use the same base and just add those, and that gives us 5 to the 8th power according to the power of the product of powers property. Okay, so maybe we should write that. Power of, why do I keep saying that? It's product of powers. Product of powers property. And then now we're ready to simplify, and we're going to simplify using the quotient power of properties. Quotient powers of properties. My goodness, Miss Englander, you cannot talk today. So we're going to take this 5/8, and we're going to put it over this 5/4, or 5 to the 4th, 5 to the 8th. And now here we're going to simplify using quotient property. Quotient of powers. All right, so this is the same thing as saying that we're going to subtract. So same base, 8 minus 4, which means that we have 5 to the power of 4. This is equivalent to this. We're done. We've simplified. We are not solving. We're not evaluating. We're just simplifying. Okay? All right, let's do another example. And in this example, we're going to have like a double type of multiplication property thing going on here. Okay, so we have negative 4 to the 9th over or divided by negative 4 to the 5th power times negative 4 to the 8th over negative 4 squared. Okay, so in this example, it's different because we have two values on the bottom. So instead of just multiplying the same base on the top, we now also have the same base on the bottom. So you can solve this exactly like you did up here on the top and then do the same thing on the bottom. Or we can look at this as two quotients and then multiply. So you can work either direction. So I'm going to first start with negative 4 to the 9th and divided by negative 4 to the 5th. And I'm going to use the quotient of powers so I can just subtract and have one number to work with. So this example, I'm just going to draw an arrow because I'm going to solve this part first. So this base is negative 4, and I'm going to subtract because it's division. 9 minus 5. So this gives me negative 4 to the 4th power. Now I'm going to multiply this by this problem here, and I'm going to simplify this one first. And this says I have negative 4 is my base, and I have 8 minus 2. Or I have negative 4 to the 6th power. And those two things now just get multiplied together. So we know by the product of powers property that we're going to add. So here we use the quotient property. And down here, now we're going to use the product. Okay, and the product is addition. Maybe you need to add that plus sign. And up here, when we have quotient, we're subtracting. Whatever you need to do to help yourself remember. So now I'm working in this direction with these two. And I'm using the base of negative 4. And I'm adding 4 and 6. So 4 plus 6. And that gives me negative 4 to the 10th power. So that is my example, 4 to the 10th. Okay, go ahead and get this written down. We're going to do another example just like this one so you can see it again. And then I will give you some try-its to work on. All right. This problem, this one is all variables, which is good. Sometimes we need variables in our life. Okay, so we have a to the 10th power over a to the 6th times a to the 7th over a to the 4th. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is use that quotient of powers property. So quotient of powers, I need to subtract first, right? Quotient of powers tells me to subtract. So I'm going to start with this one and work with division. And I have a to the 10th, so this, my base is a, and I have 10 minus 6. Well, 10 minus 6 gives me a to the 4th power. Okay, now I'm going to work on this one. I need to simplify this fraction, or this division problem. My base is still a. I'm still going to end up multiplying when I'm done. I have a to the 7th minus a to the 4th for a grand total of a to the 3rd. So again, this multiplication sign's coming down here. And now I am ready to work with my simplified version. And I'm going to do the product of powers property, which tells me to add. So my base is a, and I have 4 plus 3, so I get a total of a to the 7th power. You have done all of these properties. You've done the product of powers property, and you've done the quotient of powers property. All you're doing now is simplifying and combining those two properties together. So it looks like a lot of steps, but you just need to go slow and steady and think about the things that you know and apply those things. Okay, it is your turn now to do a couple of try-its. So let's do some try-its here so that we can check your level of understanding. If that was a crazy one, we might do a bonus option here because that one looks crazy and I think you can still solve it. Okay, let's work backwards on this one. So we have 2 to the 15th divided by 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 5th. So this one is exactly like examples A and B that we did. It's just upside down. So use your notes from A and B. Try it number 2. Try it number 2 is using -5. So we have -5 to the 7th times -5 to the 6th over -5 to the 5th times -5 squared. So again, you can solve this just like we did with letters C and D. And then there is a bonus try it just for fun. Bonus try it number 3 says p to the 3rd times p to the 6th over p to the 2. There's a whole lot of p's going on here. P, it's like a pea salad. P to the 4th over p, or p to the 1. Remember there's an invisible 1 there. Okay, go ahead and solve these try-its and then hit play when you are ready to check your work. All right, so the first thing I need to do here is add because they're being multiplied. So this base is 2, and I have 3 plus 5, which is 2 to the 8th, and I'm just going to keep sliding this 2 to the 15th over. Now I'm ready for quotient property because now I have division. So this is the base of 2, 15 minus 8. So I get 2 to the 7th power. 2 to the 7th power. Okay, how did you do on this one? Just want to double check ourselves. Okay, questions on that one, make sure you ask. Number 2. All right, number 2 is 5 to the 7th. There we go. 5 to the 7th times negative 5 to the 6th, negative 5 to the 5th times negative 5 to the 2nd. This one we can start like we did in D. We can simplify this down first, which gives us negative 5 to the 7 minus 5. And that is negative 5 to the 2nd power. Now we're ready to worry about this problem. So we have negative 5 to the 6th divided by negative 5 to the 2. Or we have negative 5 to the 4th. Now we're ready to multiply. Multiplication means that we're going to add. So this is negative 5, 2 plus 4, or negative 5 to the 6th power. Oh my goodness, that went way off the charts there. Okay, how did you do on number 2? All right, and then our bonus example here that we have has us doing a couple different things. So let's start here first with this multiplication. Multiplication means to add exponents. So we have P3 plus 6, or we have P to the 9th power times P to the 4th. We're divided by P squared and P1. All right, now we have some division. So let's go ahead and subtract these. This one is P9 minus 2. And this one times P4 minus 1. So many P's here. All right, so P9 minus 2 is 7. 4 minus 1 is 3, so P to the 3. Now we just need to multiply these or add. So we're going to add these two, which is 10. So this equals P to the 10th power. Another 10th power. We had a lot of 10th powers today. All right, how did you do on that one? It is your turn now to go ahead and summarize and answer your essential question. How do we simplify, it's not very simple, I know, simplify expressions with the quotients of powers property? How do we simplify them? And then go ahead and put your level of understanding out to the side. When you are finished, you can come on back to the Google Meet and ask me for help if you need it, or you can go on and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.